The African Cup of Nations is about to begin. Now, this is a different challenge from a Quant point of view compared to our usual league matches. So we're just going to look at how we go about dealing with this. The problem is that when we look at our regular league matches, like say in the Premier League, we've got loads of games of history to work with. I can look at Hull and go, they're near bottom of the league. They tend to lose all their matches. They seem to concede loads of goals. So then I can go, when Hull are playing, I suspect that they're going to lose. Likewise, Burnley, very good at home, very bad away. So when they're away, I'm pretty confident backing them to lose. So that would be using the soccer stats approach, just looking at how often we get 3 or more goals, how often, what their home and away forms are like. Then we have the Poisson approach, where we model the number of goals each side is going to score, and then work from there. But in the case of a tournament like the African Cup of Nations, and it's the same for the European Championships and the World Cup and the Copa America, what do we work with? We don't have 10, 20, 30, 50 games worth of data from which we can spot, this team scores loads of goals. So that's the essential challenge with a competition like this. And I don't know anything about them. What do I base my bets, decisions on? Well, fortunately, OLBG is still there. So we can go to the African Cup of Nations. I'll put the link to this in the description below the video. So we can see, what are other people saying. Now, it doesn't mean that they're right. Everyone can have an opinion. But I just wanted to put that in as a warning. But we can get information from other people who know more. So maybe Algeria have a new manager and things are looking very good. Or maybe it's everything's in chaos. Like I remember with Ireland in the World Cup in Japan, when suddenly Roy Keane came back from the World Cup and he was our world-class player, and suddenly it was utter chaos. Though we actually did well. The young players came in. So, that's the things happen in the build-up and during the tournament. And I've no idea. I don't know anything about these teams. I don't know anything about their backgrounds now. But I can prepare. Or maybe I can't. That's what this is about. How do I go about preparing for the African Cup of Nations? I did bet on this before. On previous African Cup of Nations, and I remember the secret there was to bet on unders. Essentially, every game had 1 or 2 goals. They were not high scoring affairs. Now, when I think of African football, I'm hugely influenced by that fantastic Nigerian side that was wonderfully attacking. And I think of Cameroon with Roger Milla, who was phenomenal. So I think of attacking play. But here, really, we should use the data. And I remember from maybe it was the last one or 2 ones ago, the thing was you could confidently bet on under 3 goals in basically every game. So, and even though the odds were poor, even though the odds were like 1.5, I think out of 9 matches, only one was 3 or more. So I mean, it was a good bet. Now I don't know whether things have changed. I'm going to have to see what the data is. So here's the game plan. We have OLBG. In this video, I'm going to try and predict who's going to win it and look at the resources that are available. So as I said, we've got OLBG and we can, prepare for the matches. I mean, who are the big names? Who are the favorites? Here's another nice tip. The FIFA website. So I can go over there, click on CAF. That's the federation related to African football. And I can see that Senegal is the highest ranked team. If I go back to the betting page, we see the favorites are Ivory Coast. I think, did they win it last time? They won it quite recently. And, it was their golden generation. I mean, the Ivory Coast team had so many phenomenal players. So they had constantly been going to competitions with huge expectations. So it was good that they, finally delivered. I mean, they actually managed to secure a legacy. But I can see, okay, Senegal are second favourites. Algeria, Cameroon, Ghana. It's being held in Ghana. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the top few. Oh no, it's been held in Gabon, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of these. So back to the world rankings. So we've got Senegal, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Egypt, Algeria. Tunisia are on the odds far lower than they are on the world ranking. Okay. But again, I am starting from knowing nothing. So, it's all a surprise. Okay. So, these are the ranking points. So Senegal is steady. This is their, I think the plus minus is their positions. So Senegal have stayed at 33, Ivory Coast at 34, Tunisia have fallen 1 point, but they're very close to the top teams. I'm not exactly sure I think these are ELO ratings. I had looked it up a couple of years ago, but I essentially just look at the rankings and the points just to see firstly where they are and then what the momentum is. So, if say Tunisia were 35 but they jumped up by 4, then they're a team with up momentum. I mean, there must be some team then there. Yeah, so Zambia, they've just gone up by 3. Rwanda has gone up by 9. So we don't know when they're actually going to reach their proper level. At the moment, they seem to be outperforming what people think they are. But at least now I know I'd expect the winner to be from really the top 4 here. I also know that historically Egypt have won it the most times. So, Egypt has a large population, and they've won it like maybe 7 times or something. Ivory Coast have maybe won it once or twice. So, in that way, they have a lot of form. Nigeria would be the country whose population is big now, but it's supposed to, throughout our life, in the next 30, 40, 50 years, Nigeria's population is supposed to, zoom past that of the US, maybe even double that the US. I mean, it's expected to be the next big thing. And so, with that, I wouldn't be surprised if Nigeria don't dominate or become a major player in world football, because they're already really good. So as their population grows, and there are a lot of young people, they should have they should produce lots of footballers. But that's very long term, so that doesn't change things for like this tournament. Conveniently, Soccer Stats also has an African Cup of Nations section. So, we'll be able to see, how the various teams are doing. And then we'll be able to spot patterns and go, okay, Senegal seem to be doing very well. They tend to be scoring. Will they have? We'll see with time. So, since it's the tournament, the initial question is going to be who's going to qualify from the groups, who's going to top the groups. I think historically, for tournaments, you want to win the group. The team that wins the group, like the teams that make it to the quarterfinal and that kind of stage, they tend to have actually won their group. I'll have to look that up again or read that reference again about the significance of winning the group. Okay, so that's really, the tournament hasn't begun yet, but at least we have our basic framework. So I actually have another few bits of pieces, but you can gather all kinds of information, and because we can only try and make guesses at this stage because we don't know these. I don't know these teams. I don't know what changes have occurred. I don't know who the good teams are really. They'll have some world class great players sprinkled around the teams, as we have in any tournament. So in the European one, you'd know, okay, who were Ronaldo was for Portugal, but he doesn't tend to score as many for Portugal as he does for club, though he's one of the highest international goal scorers of all time, so that's not fair. So who then what is the bet I'm doing now? I'll be, as the tournament begins, I don't know whether I'll be posting all of these, but I will be just using the normal framework. Look at OLBG, have a look at the teams playing and decide whether there's a bet on or not. So I'll be using Soccer Stats mainly, I imagine, to look for patterns, to kind of go, okay, it looks like all the games are very low scoring, so then I'll bet for unders, that kind of thing. But to begin with, I'm just using the world rankings because that gives me information about, what the pecking order is. So, I would kind of expect the top ranked teams to do better. Just one more thing. I just want to get a picture of where Senegal and Ivory Coast are compared to other teams around the world. Just to kind of... So, you've got... Brazil are ranked 2 above Germany? Okay. I suppose Germany didn't do well in the European Championships, but I didn't think they did badly. I thought they made it to the semis. Anyway, the point here is to look at Costa Rica 17. Wow. Oh, they might have... I think didn't they knock out England in the World Cup? Joel Campbell, Arsenal player. Yeah, anyway. Getting distracted. Excellent. Ireland up to 23. I mean, O'Neill has been doing very well, but 23. Excellent. And there are a lot of good young players who are just coming in, so happy days. Okay, now we get to Senegal. Okay. So they're just below Austria and Northern Ireland, Ukraine, and who are good teams. Not, top teams, but good teams, ones you, I suppose, particularly from my perspective, these would be tough games for Ireland, where I would hope that I wouldn't be surprised if Ireland won, but I wouldn't assume that would be the case. So they're above Serbia, Czech Republic, Greece, Sweden, Romania, Paraguay. Okay, so basically they're good teams. Okay. Is there anything else really I wanted to cover? No, it's more just I thought it was worth as well talking about tournaments, because they are very different compared to, say, league matches. And so the standard methods that I would use wouldn't be available to me, because I don't have loads of games of maybe Senegal playing like the same 10 teams playing each other again and again. So, yep, that's about it. I'll see what happens. I am backing Senegal to win. Does this have African players? I think Senegal are... they're the highest ranked team. Gabon, I think they're the hosts. So I have a small bet on them, as in like €1 or something. And maybe Algeria. So they're my 3, kind of like at times I do with the horse racing, because the odds are bigger. They're not like just doubling your money. They're like 7, 8, 9, 10 to 1, that kind of thing. So I can maybe bet on 3 things and still get good returns. I don't think I might be wrong, so we'll see. I think that the Ivory Coast golden generation, whatever, have gone past their peak. Like Yaya Toure was in his pomp in the last one, where he was one of the best teams in the Premier League, who would single-handedly just win matches, which is not the case now. That said, in a recent match for Man City, he looked very fit again. So he looks in good shape. He's not being played every week, so he won't be. He'll be very fresh. So we don't know. But I think that Senegal have the most quality. They are the highest ranked. I think Gabon are the hosts, and they've got some very good players as well. I think it's what's his name? Brilliant striker, plays in Germany. A lot of clubs would like him, but he would cost a fortune, and the club don't want to sell him. And I like Algeria because from the World Cup, I thought they drove Germany very close. They have Mahrez. They play a beautiful brand of football, so I wouldn't write them off either.